Can you actually play the new LEGO Ideas grand piano? No, not really no. Hello, this is Bricks Ahoy. I've had this account parked for a while now and I didn't expect this to be my first video, but I saw the announcement of this newest LEGO Ideas set and I saw some major confusion and wanted to help clear things up. I've been digging through all the images and videos released and I feel I have a pretty good handle on how this piano functions, so I'm going to walk you through it. But before I discuss the playing aspect, let's quickly go over the set details. Grand Piano set number 21323 is the latest Ideas set, which are sets based on submissions to LEGO Ideas by fan designers, this one by Donnie Chan. It's been in the works for a long time as it received 10,000 supporters a while back. It has 3,662 pieces and retails for $349.99 USD. The set consists of a miniaturized grand piano with 25 articulated keys. In addition to its relatively realistic appearance, it has a lid that opens, music stand, openable fallboard, working foot pedal, and height adjustable bench. The set includes a battery box and a motor, which are used to animate the keys to make the piano look like it's playing. All of these features were present in the original fan's submission, and besides a few aesthetic and functional tweaks to turn this mock into a physical, packageable LEGO product, the final design remains faithful to the fan model, both in form and function. There was one addition to the final model though, and this is where the confusion starts. While the original fan design was playable, it did not produce sound. The LEGO group have decided to add an additional powered-up sensor and app support so that your phone can be placed on the music stand and produce sound for the piano. In the designer video, lead designer Wu Zun-Chi shows off a cutaway of the working key mechanism. There are a couple extra support pieces and a crank at the back that are here just for demonstration purposes, but this is how each white key inside the LEGO Grand Piano functions. When a key is pressed, the back of the key lifts a damper, and then the key triggers a hammer. This is very similar to how a real piano works. Now with that function out of the way, can the piano detect which keys you push down? This is the biggest question I see popping up, and people understandingly seem to think you can play this piano like a real one, and it's simply not possible. Mechanically, when a key is pushed down, the backside of the key lifts up, and a red tile makes contact with a very long Technic axle that spans the entire width of the piano. This axle is connected to some pieces that, when lifted, block the IR sensor. I'm pretty positive this is an IR or infrared sensor. The initial rendering was a bit confusing because the transmitter transceiver shouldn't look like they're made of gray rubber and probably look more like this sensor included in this photograph from a LEGO education set. But I digress. IR sensors are essentially obstacle detectors. Either something is obscuring the line of sight of the detector or it's not. So no matter what key you press, the sensor will be blocked, letting the app know you've pressed a key. It has no way of knowing which key has been pressed. You could play a chord of 6 keys at once and it would probably be treated as one key press. Now disclaimer, I don't have this set on hand, so if I incorrectly describe some of these features, there will be a pinned comment with corrections. As a side effect of this mechanism, if you play a bit lazily, rolling each note into the next, the app will likely detect this as only the first note being played. As far as I can tell, the key presses aren't incidental, and the sensor will remain obscured until all keys return to a resting position. Once at rest, the app knows you're ready to press the next note in the sequence, so it's probably best to play songs with a single finger like this. The app is stated to only contain 5 songs you can physically play along with. That's it. 5. Do you want to play Chopsticks, Flight of the Bumblebee, the Super Mario theme song? You can't. You're limited to the 5 songs included, which looks like they'll probably be Fleur-Elisa, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, Happy Birthday to You, Jingle Bells, and We Wish You a Merry Christmas, unless something changes. The copy on LEGO's own website says 4 songs? Frustrating. Regardless of what songs make it in, I'm pretty positive we won't be able to add our own songs, and I highly doubt we'll get any more. So that's it. 5 songs. That's how the play function works. There is also a listen mode on the app that lets the piano play one of 10 songs for you, and the only songs that cross over with the 5 playable songs are Happy Birthday, Jingle Bells, and We Wish You a Merry Christmas. When a song is playing, the motor spins a long Technic axle that has red, white, and blue Technic half beams in different orientations that collide with the keys to make them fall in a pattern. First, it's flat with all keys at rest. Then all the keys that come in contact with the red Technic parts get pushed down, then white, and then blue. 4 states of keys being down, the same 4 states over and over. But most people seem to think that it's truly playable, and I'm frustrated. How did all of this become so confusing? The original fan model doesn't contain anything that produced music, so Donnie Chen using the word playable wasn't really misleading. And if the final idea set didn't include the sensor and app integration, throwing a simple "does not actually produce music" disclaimer on the front of the box, just like they do for boats that don't float, would have been all too easy and it would have eliminated confusion. But I don't think the issue is with the final box itself. It doesn't state anywhere that it's playable. There's a tiny graphic on the box that hints at music playback using Powered Up, but it's vague. It doesn't feel that misleading to me. This introductory video, though, is definitely misleading. A song plays itself in a way that's a bit magical, but still implies that the keyboard works? Well, sort of. For whatever reason, the keys play from high to low notes instead of low to high like the song, so it's not very accurate. And Psychoplate, why do the gold elements look like they're shiny, like drum lacquered? They're pearl gold. But anyway, this is just a teaser video, and its misleading bits could be explained away. I do feel like there should have been a disclaimer, but I don't think a lot of people have even seen this video. So where does the meat and potatoes of this problem actually come from? Most of the confusion I've seen stems directly from all the PR blasts and marketing material. Playable is written everywhere, not in quotes. Just look at all these examples. Beautiful and playable, brick-built version of a concert grand piano that you can actually play music with. Drumroll please as we proudly introduce the first ever playable grand piano, and then play beautiful music with it. Combined with the Lego powered up app, you can play a tune yourself or automatically. And that's just what the product page says. This is the text that fan sites were given. With a clever motor and working keys, when this set is combined with the Lego powered up app, fans can become musical maestros, one brick and one note at a time, making it the Lego group's first ever piano set with the ability to play music. I have no idea what happened here. If they upfront stated articulated keys instead of playable, and play 5 songs when connected to the app, I feel like that would have helped people understand. Using the word playable without an attached disclaimer, in my opinion, completely crosses the line and is fully misleading. If you polled most consumers about a playable Lego piano, they describe it as a piano that plays notes you press just like a real one. That's what people are going to and already have assumed. But there's no disclaimer on this body text. Since I started scripting this video, they've gone in and added this section, which I don't think was originally on the website, with images that say pretend to play. And while I think this is a huge step in the right direction, it doesn't undo or erase all the other misleading text that I've already shown you. It's still on the page. And beyond that, this was the text that was sent out to media outlets everywhere, and people have already read through. So they could and probably should go back and fix this text, but the misinformation is already out there. Was the person in charge of writing this colorful, heavily padded, SEO-friendly copy not fully aware of how this piano functioned? Was it someone higher up pushing for the use of the word playable? Because technically it is, in some weird backwards way if you really bend over and try to explain yourself. I would truly love to know the mindset of those who were in charge of this stuff. Were they rushing to get this out the door and didn't take the time to analyze what they had written from the perspective of an unknowing consumer? What happened here? Imagine picking up the set for $350 thinking it'll function like a real piano, and then realizing only after you've built it that you can only play 5 pre-chosen songs, and whatever key you press it'll just sound whatever note's next. I can see it happening and people won't be happy. Now, about the sensor and app integration itself. If I was a designer at Lego, I would absolutely try to add some sort of music playback functionality to this set. I do not fault the designers or anyone who pushed for the musical functions being added to the set. The original fan model was quite educational, as it's a realistic replica that gives you insight into the inner workings of a real grand piano. The final idea set replicates these educational functions fantastically, but also tacks on a gimmick that plays notes unrelated to the keys you're pressing, and I feel like it almost subtracted some of the educational value of the set a bit. That's not how a real piano works. Not to mention they decided to throw 18 plus on the box. This is an educational set that could teach kids that are much younger, and I mean it still can, but there's something about 18 plus, and this could be a rant for a different video. I definitely associate 18 plus with like things that are off limits to children. I haven't seen a lot of other people complain about this, so maybe it's just me, but there's something about 18 plus that I think is going to scare away some people. And this is an educational set that I think kids could truly learn from. And having 18 plus on the box is just kind of strange. Anybody who's 18 or older who's going to buy a grand piano probably understands how one functions. So the educational features aren't going to be all that educational anymore. It just seems strange. I fully understand that they want to bring in an adult market, but I don't know if 18 plus was the correct way to go about it. But anyway, ultimately, if the app was treated and marketed like a fun little gimmicky bonus, it would have been fine. I do feel like the sensor and app integration may have inflated the price a bit though. The set costs $350 USD and comes with 3,662 pieces, and that averages out to a relatively reasonable 10-cent price to part ratio. If they wanted to, they could have omitted all the powered up elements. The hub, the motor, and the sensor add up to a roughly $75 retail value. So not including those could have potentially brought the price down to around 275 USD, which still might feel too expensive, but it's actually a fantastic value from a Lego perspective at around 7.5 cents per part, with a large number of larger bricks included in the set. To make up for the lack of a motor, they could have added in a small removable crank that you could spin to trigger the player piano functionality. You could still put your phone on the music stand, but you could play any song you could possibly want, and then just spin the crank yourself. No Lego developed app integration necessary. Then people with deeper pockets could have chosen to upgrade the set to get a motor and a hub if they felt like they get use out of it. The problem with that theory, however, is that the IR sensor is, as far as I can tell, not sold on its own. There is a similar sensor, but not this one, so it makes sense why they'd bundle all 3 pieces, because including an IR sensor but nothing else would be kind of weird. Also, the motor and hub were included in the original fan design, so I get it. It's just a place where there could have potentially been some savings. Before I wrap up, I want to very quickly address Nintendo Labo. Nintendo released a product that was a constructible cardboard 13-key musical keyboard. Sticking a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con inside allowed the IR motion camera to detect special barcodes on the backs of the keys as you press them. The Joy-Con would detect, and the Switch would play exactly the notes you pressed on the keyboard itself. I don't think Lego had any ability to do this. People voted for a grand piano-shaped 25-key piano with working articulated keys, hammers, dampers, the works. For a sensor or two to fit inside and accurately detect what notes you press, the form factor and realistic camera and damper functionality would likely have changed dramatically. So while I do think LEGO could eventually produce a truly playable keyboard, I don't think there was any way they could have stayed true to the initial fan idea and turned this grand piano into a properly functioning playable piano. So ultimately, I think you have a stunningly beautiful model that I really do hope sells well. While I'll probably pick up the NES replica set myself instead on August 1st, this is a truly beautiful set. Beyond beauty, it seems like a wonderful feat of technical engineering too, as all these key mechanisms definitely went under a lot of redesigns to make sure they function correctly and consistently. I'm just saddened that such a wonderful, unique LEGO set is already overshadowed with controversy, something that seems like it's going to spiral and get worse. I really do hope consumers seek out reviews and understand what they're buying before getting their hopes up. So that's it. Will you be picking up the LEGO Grand Piano? Did you think it was truly playable before watching this video? Were you disappointed when you found out it wasn't really playable? Please leave all your comments below. This is my first video, so hopefully I didn't make too many mistakes. There's a pinned comment, like I said before, with any corrections. I hope to bring more content to you soon. This took a lot longer to script and put together than I thought it would, so thank you for sticking around for the whole video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and share this video with anyone who might want to know more about this playable, in quotes, grand piano. Thanks for watching.